As the months passed, Obinna became one of the richest men in Umuoki. His barns overflowed with yams, his harvest filled many baskets, and traders from distant villages came to buy his crops. The same people who had once laughed at his poverty now greeted him with respect and proudly called him a successful man. But while they admired his wealth, they still looked down on Amara. Many villagers could not understand why such a rich and respected man continued to live with a woman they believed was too ugly to stand beside him. Whenever Amara accompanied Obinna to the market, people whispered behind her back. Some even laughed openly, saying her appearance would one day bring shame to her husband's name. One afternoon, a group of wealthy elders and successful farmers invited Obinna to sit with them beneath the great village tree. After praising his success, one of the elders spoke carefully. "My son, you have become a wealthy and respected man. You deserve a wife whose beauty matches your success. Send that woman away and marry a beautiful wife. Every family in this village would gladly give you their daughter." The other elders nodded in agreement, expecting Obinna to accept his advice. He remained silent for a moment before answering with calm confidence. "When I had nothing, Amara stood beside me. When the whole village rejected her, I chose to love her. The wealth I have today did not change my heart. I married her because of the goodness inside her, not because of her face. I will never abandon the woman who has walked beside me through every hardship." His words left the gathering in complete silence. Some elders lowered their heads in shame, while others quietly walked away, unable to answer him. Far beyond the eyes of men, the sacred river flowed peacefully beneath the evening sky, and above its shimmering waters, an ancient promise was drawing closer to its final fulfillment.
3 years passed after their marriage, and Obinna and Amara continued to live happily together. Their home was filled with peace, laughter, and more than enough food to share with others. They never allowed their newfound wealth to change who they were. Obinna remained humble, helping poor families and providing food for widows and hungry children. Amara stood faithfully by his side, welcoming every visitor with kindness and a gentle heart. But despite all the blessings they had received, one prayer remained unanswered. Month after month, Amara did not become pregnant. At first, they told themselves there was no reason to worry. But as the years passed, the same villagers who had once mocked her appearance found a new reason to gossip. They whispered that perhaps Amara was still cursed and that she would never become a mother, no matter how rich her husband became. Their cruel words never changed Obinna's heart. One quiet evening, as they sat together outside their mud house, watching the stars fill the night sky, Amara lowered her head and spoke softly. "My husband, if one day you decide to marry another woman because I cannot give you children, I will understand." Obinna immediately took her hands into his own and looked deeply into her eyes. "Never say those words again," he replied gently. "I did not marry you because I wanted children, or because I hoped to become rich. I married you because I love you. Whether we have children or not, you are enough for me." Tears filled Amara's eyes as she rested her head on his shoulder, comforted by the love of the man who had never stopped choosing her. That night, after they had fallen asleep, an unusual peace settled over their home. A soft blue light quietly surrounded Amara's sleeping mat. Far away at the sacred river, the water shimmered beneath the full moon. Without making a sound, the river goddess slowly rose from the sacred waters once again. The time had finally come to fulfill the last part of her ancient promise. That night, Amara fell into a deep and peaceful sleep. In her dream, she found herself standing once again at the sacred river beneath the light of a full moon.
The water was calm, glowing with the same beautiful blue light she had seen on the night of her wedding. Slowly, the river goddess rose from the river, her long flowing hair moving gently as though carried by the water itself. Her presence filled the air with peace and power. Amara immediately fell to her knees. The river goddess smiled warmly and spoke in a calm, gentle voice. "My child, you have walked through pain without allowing bitterness to enter your heart. You endured rejection without seeking revenge. Your husband remained faithful when the world urged him to abandon you. Together, you have fulfilled the promise that began on the night of your birth. The suffering placed upon your life has come to an end. From this day forward, no curse shall follow you. Go now and embrace the life that destiny has prepared for you." As the river goddess stretched out her hand, a brilliant blue light surrounded Amara, wrapping around her like a gentle breeze. The light grew brighter and brighter until everything slowly faded into darkness. Just before sunrise, Amara opened her eyes. A strange warmth flowed through her body. The room felt peaceful, yet something was different. Drawn by an unseen feeling, she walked slowly toward the clay pot of water beside the doorway. She looked into the still water. Her breath caught. She covered her mouth in disbelief. The face that had been mocked since childhood was gone. The scars had vanished. Her skin glowed with radiant beauty, and her features were as graceful as the first light of dawn. At that very moment, Obinna woke from his sleep. Seeing the beautiful young woman standing inside the house, he froze in surprise. Confused, he spoke softly. "Please, forgive me. I think you have entered the wrong house." He looked around anxiously. "Have you seen my wife, Amara?" Tears filled Amara's eyes as a gentle smile spread across her face. "My husband." Her voice trembled with emotion. "It is me." Obinna stared at her in complete silence. Then, as he heard the voice he knew so well, understanding slowly filled his eyes. Overcome with joy, he rushed forward and embraced her tightly. Both of them wept with gratitude, thanking God for the miracle that had finally broken every chain of rejection that had followed Amara since the day she was born. Outside, the first golden rays of sunlight spread across Umoke. A new day had begun, and with it, a new life for Amara and Obinna. The river goddess had fulfilled every promise she had made.
As the sun climbed higher into the sky, news of the mysterious, beautiful woman inside Obinna's house spread across Umoke. Curious villagers gathered outside, wondering who had arrived during the night. Some whispered that Obinna had finally listened to their advice and married a beautiful second wife. Others smiled proudly, believing he had finally abandoned Amara, the woman they had mocked for years. Unable to contain their curiosity, a group of elders, women, and neighbors walked into the compound. Obinna welcomed them with a smile, while the beautiful young woman stood quietly beside him. Confused, the villagers looked around the house and asked, "Where is your wife? We heard another woman has taken her place." Obinna gently held Amara's hand and replied, "This is my wife, the woman you rejected, the woman you laughed at, the woman you called cursed. She is the same person." For a moment, no one spoke. The compound fell into complete silence as every face filled with shock and disbelief. The women who had mocked Amara covered their mouths in shame.
The elders lowered their heads, remembering the day they had urged Obinna to send her away. Some villagers stepped forward to apologize with tears in their eyes, admitting that they had judged her by her appearance instead of her character. But Amara smiled gently, just as her father had taught her many years before. "I have already forgiven you," she said softly. "Hatred only keeps old wounds alive. I choose peace." Her words touched every heart in the compound. From that day on, the people of Moke no longer saw Amara as the cursed daughter of the river. Instead, they saw a woman whose kindness had remained unshaken through years of suffering. And as the villagers celebrated the miracle they had witnessed, another quiet miracle had already begun to grow within Amara, a blessing that would soon complete the river goddess's final promise.
Several months passed after the miracle that transformed Amara's life. Peace and happiness filled the home she shared with Obinna like never before. One beautiful morning, Amara gently took Obinna's hand and placed it on her stomach. Tears of joy sparkled in her eyes as she smiled and whispered, "My husband, we are going to have a baby." For a moment, Obinna stood speechless. Then a smile slowly spread across his face as tears rolled down his cheeks. He wrapped Amara tightly in his arms, thanking God for the miracle they had prayed for but never expected. This time, there was no fear in Amara's heart. The river goddess had promised that her years of suffering were over, and she believed every word. As the months passed, Amara's pregnancy was peaceful. The entire village stood beside her with love and respect. The same women who had once mocked her now visited her home with gifts, sewed baby clothes with their own hands, and prayed for her safe delivery. They had finally learnt that true beauty is not found on a person's face, but in a heart filled with kindness, forgiveness, and love. On a peaceful evening, beneath a sky filled with countless stars, Amara gave birth safely to healthy twins, a baby boy and a baby girl. Their joyful cries filled the house, replacing generations of sorrow with laughter and hope. The whole village gathered to celebrate the birth of the twins. Songs of thanksgiving echoed through Umoke as drums filled the air with joyful music. The elders blessed the children, while the women danced with happiness, remembering how wrongly they had judged Amara all those years before. Standing outside his home with Amara beside him and their newborn twins resting safely in their arms, Obinna looked toward the distant sacred river. His eyes filled with gratitude as he silently thanked God for the miracle that had changed their lives forever. At that very moment, beneath the golden light of the setting sun, the surface of the sacred river began to shimmer. Slowly, the river goddess rose from the water one final time. She looked at the happy family from a distance, and a peaceful smile appeared on her face. In a gentle voice carried by the evening breeze, she whispered, "The promise has been fulfilled." Moments later, she slowly disappeared beneath the water. The river became calm once again. From that day forward, the story of Amara, the child the river gave, was told from one generation to another, not as a tale of curses and sorrow, but a story of faith, forgiveness, unwavering love, and hope. For the people of Umoke would never forget that true beauty is found in the heart, not in the face, and that those who choose love over fear will always find their destiny. The end.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for your support, and God bless you.